The other day, I was watching one of my favorite NFL YouTubers, and he did a video on NFL hot takes. For those that want to check him out, it's MMG on YouTube. I think Meegs is the channel he posted it on, though. But I was watching that video, and it gave me the idea for this one right here. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do a Call of the Wild hot takes video. So I asked you guys to give me some of your biggest Call of the Wild hot takes, and we're going to go through them, and I'm going to tell you whether I think that they're a hot take or if it's a cold take that everybody agrees with. Let's check out the very first one. A level 3 lynx shouldn't spook a level 7 bear. You know, I wouldn't even call this a hot take. I think a lot of people agree that a level 3 lynx should not be able to spook a larger animal in general. I think it goes even past bears to things like a moose and maybe even a deer. Like a white-tailed deer is a whole lot bigger than a lynx, and I do think that they shouldn't be spooked by them. But I guess it's just the way the game's designed. This is definitely, in my opinion, not a hot take. I think a lot of people agree with this statement right here. So I'd say that one's a cold take. Like, pretty much everybody agrees that a level 3 lynx should not be able to spook, things that are larger than it. And also big shout out to the original posters of everything that we're going to read in this video. Shout out to y'all. Hope y'all are having an awesome time watching this video and getting some of your hot takes recognized and answered. And obviously we're going to skip over ones that are mainly jokes and not an actual hot take. So appreciate you, Justin, but this is more of a joke than an actual hot take. Here's one. Once you start grinding in this game, it ruins the fun of it. I don't really know if this is a hot take or a cold take. I mean, I would say it's a hot take, and there's one specific reason for that. It's not to say that it doesn't ruin the game for you in particular, but the thing about grinding and also casual play is that every single person that plays the game is going to feel completely different about, every play style that there is. Some people want to just hop on and, have a casual hunt where they just run in a direction and shoot anything they see. Others want to try and make it as realistic as they possibly can, so it's like real hunting. And others want to just get as many trophies as they possibly can through grinding. And depending on what type of player you are, you're going to gravitate towards whatever playstyle fits how you can make the game fun for you. Like for somebody like me, grinding is what keeps it interesting. If I was doing the same thing every single day in terms of just walking around and barely seeing anything, I'd get bored really, really fast. For me, the grinding keeps it interesting because I'm constantly shooting something. And that's just the way that I am. I constantly have to have action happening to keep me interested for the amount of time that I've been interested in this game. But I mean, take a look at somebody like Kendall Gray. He loves playing the game in a more casual way, and it's what's kept the game fun for him, which is, to my point of everybody's different. Everybody enjoys the game differently. So I think to end this one off, I would say that that is a hot take because every single person that plays the game is going to feel, completely different than the other people on each play style. Next up, we got a long-time viewer of the channel, Merle. The ARs make most other guns obsolete and probably shouldn't have been added to the game. Also, not a hot take, but raccoons should definitely be class 1, and it kind of bugs me they're not. I agree with that. Raccoons should be class 1. But as for the ARs thing, I do think this is definitely a hot take because it only makes other guns obsolete if you're a min-maxer, if you're a grinder, if you're trying to be the most efficient you possibly can. And just to be honest, man, the majority of players don't play that way. Grinders are a very small portion of the community. I mean, take a look at Kendall Gray's playstyle. In most cases, he picks a bunch of weapons that he just feels like using that day and heads out and just hunts whatever he can find. And that is the majority of players. The majority of players play like that. So to most people, the ARs didn't ruin anything because they just kind of pick whatever guns they feel like using that day in particular. Whereas grinders like us, we're going to choose the most efficient loadout possible. So yeah, I would definitely say that is a hot take. And it's not to say that it's a bad thing either. We have the choice to choose any weapon we want, but because we kind of gravitate towards a more grindy playstyle, we naturally look at the ARs and are like, yeah, those are definitely going to be the best if we want to kill a lot of animals really fast. So yeah, I definitely would say that right there is a hot take. And now we go on to the next one. I think the Florida Everglades would be an amazing map. I wouldn't say that's a hot take. I think everybody wants to see something like that. There's obviously going to be people that would rather see other maps first, but Florida Everglades has been a pretty consistent request I've seen throughout the years. And I mean, there's a lot of really cool animals you could have on a map like that. And as you know, skipping over all joke type ones, so let's move on to this one right here from Luke. Grinding for great ones is less special than finding one randomly. That's not really a hot take. I think everybody can agree that if you just find one randomly that you're not really grinding for or hunting for in the first place, that's definitely going to be more special in almost every occasion. So I would say that's a cold take. I agree with it 100% that it's obviously going to be more special to find them randomly. Ooh, this one actually, this might be a good hot take here. From Yellow Bear, they should add a poison blow dart gun. This is definitely something that would be a little controversial because a lot of people don't even know that you can use that type of stuff for hunting. So I think it would be a little controversial to get something like that into the game. I would say, yeah, that one, probably a hot take. Now we got one from Andrew here. Every whitetail deer rack is the same or not realistic at all. I don't want to shoot a 20 point every time I just go hunting. I want to get a rack I've never had before. I 100% agree with this. I would say this is not a hot take. I think every single rack we have for the whitetail deer is very oversized and unrealistic. Now, I do think that there should be at least one rack that is an 8x8, but it shouldn't be every single rack aside from the small 2s and 1s. In my personal opinion, the only whitetail racks that should remain unchanged are the great ones. I think the great one racks for whitetail are quite nice. If anything, they somehow look more realistic even though they're crazy non-typicals. But yes, the normal whitetail racks, they need a massive overhaul. I mean, you should primarily be getting like 3x3s, 4x4s, 5x5s with the occasional 6x6 or higher. That should be the standard. We should be able to get like a mass heavy 5x5 as a diamond. I think that is something that definitely needs to happen. In case I forgot to mention it, I would definitely rate that as a cold take. Definitely a cold take because I think a lot of people agree that the whitetail don't look super great. Next up, we got one from Gunner. Heart rack mule deer is the best. I don't think this really qualifies as a hot take because everybody's opinion is different. There's a lot of people that love that rack. There's a lot of people that don't. So that's probably kind of like a neutral take or a cold take because it's really like a personal preference thing. Now we got one from Commander Zach. EW should start to polish up old maps. Parquet, Layton, and Hirsch are great, but they could all be so much cooler, backfilling and adding new species, redesigning terrain, and maybe even adding new regions if they're able to. Again, I don't think this is a hot take. Like, I think everybody wants to see some of the older maps get the, like, modernization treatment to make them fit with some of the newer maps that have been added that are just a whole lot more polished. I could definitely see that being a very popular thing if they were to do it, and hopefully they do one day. So this one right here, I'd say it's a cold take. I feel like most people would agree with this. Sunder Patton is massively overrated. I don't know if I can call this one right here a hot take because again, everybody's different in terms of like what they like in a map. There's a lot of people that love Sunder Patton and there's a lot of people that don't like it because it can be a little brushy if you're not hunting water. So I totally can understand why some people don't like it. So I would say this one, I don't even know if I can rate it a cold or hot take. This one's a neutral take. So I believe we have like 80 different hot takes to get through. So I'm probably going to skip through and just find some of the best ones for the remainder of this video. Here's one from Cooper. Great ones are easy to kill. Now that is the definition of a hot take right there because great ones really are not easy to kill unless you have been doing it for so long that you just know every like right move to make in herd management to get the most prime grinding setup and everything. It's really not easy if you're a newer player or even if you're just somebody who's played for a while but has never tried to grind for a great one. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time and most people just don't have the time that you need to dedicate to get lots of great ones. So I would definitely say that is a major hot take. They are not easy to kill unless you have a lot of time on your hands and have spent a lot of time, you know, figuring out how to grind and be the most efficient in grinding. And that's exactly why I make guides and why we've got, you know, a playlist full of herd management guides. It's to hopefully help people that want to get into grinding but may not know where to start or everything that they should do along the grind. Okay, so most of these right in here I would not classify as hot takes because I think a lot of people agree with them, but one that stood out to me is this one right here. Feeders were overhyped and overrated. I don't think so, to be honest. I feel like this has been one of the most successful non-map updates we have seen in a very long time. The feeders are insanely popular, and so many people are using them in so many different cool ways to improve their hunts. It's one of those things where you gotta know like how to use them, and people have been experimenting and finding amazing ways to use these feeders, and it's been a super popular DLC from what I've seen. So I do agree, that is a hot take. That is a major hot take right there, because I feel like the reception for this DLC has been better than most. Here's another one from Timothy. Great ones should be slightly more accessible so players who don't have hours to pour into the game can get them. I assume can get them was the end of that. I don't know if this is necessarily a hot take, but it's one that I did want to read off and put into the video, because I do think there's a lot of people who, you know, don't have a lot of time to play the game. They might only get a few hours a week that would like to be able to get some of those crazy trophies like great ones. And I just don't think that they could do that without ruining like the allure of the great ones. Like the whole reason that great ones are regarded as like one of the craziest and most amazing trophies that you could get in the game is because of how difficult they are to get. Now, there's obviously people out there that would argue, oh, HM has made them too common. Oh, they're not special anymore, which just isn't the case. There's still a lot of people that consider them to be the most special things. Really only the most like grind-hating people think that great ones aren't special. They still take a ridiculous amount of work to get, even with HM. And to be honest, the majority of people out there just don't have the time to sink into a grind to get a great one to show up. There's very few of us that actually have that time, and so a lot of those people are like, oh, they're easy. They're really not. They're really not for the majority of people out there. So I totally get this. I totally understand why you might want to have, you know, a way to get them a little bit easier for people that don't have a lot of time. But the thing is, I think making them more easy to get would ruin great ones. And so in my personal opinion, they should add a new kind of trophy, like something that is more obtainable. Maybe like a mission great one that is exclusive to the mission, so that it doesn't like devalue the ones that are, you know, regular great ones that we've currently got. If we got like a special mission variation of like a great one red deer, and it was a variation you could only get through the mission, that would allow everybody to be able to get a great one, but it would be able to still differentiate it from the other great ones. Which I think that's probably the best way that they could do it. Here's Ender with his hot take. Not gonna lie, expected this one. The 22 mag is the single worst weapon in the game, including the 410. I would definitely say that is a big hot take, because the 22 Magnum lever action, if you know how to use it, is actually really good. It's a quite effective weapon, and I've had some great luck using it. It's always killed pretty quickly for me. It's got relatively controllable like bullet drop. It's very easy to use, and it packs a punch for a 22. Whereas the 410, I mean, I once shot a pheasant great one with the 410 from like 20 meters away, and it took it like 30 seconds to die. So I would say that is a hot take. Okay, this will probably be the final one of the day, but Parker says herd management ruined Call of the Wild, and I'm gonna say this is a hot take. And I'll give you one reason, because it can only ruin the game if you let it ruin the game for you. There are literally tens of thousands of people out there that continue to play the game like herd management doesn't even exist. So why can't you? In my personal opinion, you should never let what others are doing ruin the game for you in a single player game, because what you do in your own game is not affected by what other people are doing. And that is the beauty of the Hunter Call of the Wild, because it's not a primarily online game with like online leaderboards and all that type of stuff. You have no disadvantage by hunting one way or another, because it's 100% just what you want your experience to be. Well, everybody, thank you for watching this video right here. Remember, at the end of the day, a lot of these are opinions, and a lot of the responses are just my opinions on the matter. Let me know if you disagree with anything down in the comments below. Do you disagree with some of the hot takes? Do you disagree with my answers to them? Let me know. Keep it respectful at the end of the day, though. We want to keep things civil in the comments so we can have a good conversation. I appreciate you all. Sub to the channel, leave a comment, hit the like button, hype the video up if you have the option, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!